here. I'm going to push one. I know that's a new feature. I hope you enjoy that.
Oh,
And I want you to give me just 5 seconds, Miss Burbine, just 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
And that's all I needed. Have a good meeting.
Thank you.
You're very
All
welcome.
right, Pete.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. Welcome to the Scituate Planning Board meeting of Thursday, May 27th, 2021. For public participation, it's by remote access. Remote access. Mine won't go away. At any rate, so go to the website and you can figure out how to get on. We've got a new thing here. This meeting is being recorded.
Just can't.
So yeah, there we go. We got it. Okay, so I will accept a motion to accept the agenda, please.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? All in
Second.
favor?
Ms. Burbine.
Aye.
Ms. Lewis.
Aye.
Ms. Lampert.
Aye.
Mr. Bornstein.
Aye.
Mr. Pritchard.
Aye.
And Mr. McLean.
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous. All in favor.
Okay. All right, the first item is the continued public hearing, Scenic Road, 533 Country Way. Applicant owner, Marvel Homes, formerly John O'Keefe, P&J South Street LLC. Okay, who's on for that, please?
The individuals cannot necessarily unmute themselves. So if you are supposed to speak to that, you will need to raise your hand.
Paul Sharon is there. I'm not able to unmute him because Sherry just left the room.
I can handle that for you.
Thank you.
And Greg is here too.
Okay.
And both Greg, Paul, you should be able to unmute yourself. Go right ahead.
Paul?
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Sharon. Okay,
you
you're
hear
on,
me?
please.
Can you hear me, Ann?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
All right, who's making the presentation this evening, please?
I can start, Ann. We submitted a revised plan. Can I share that with you?
Sure.
Greg,
All right.
Greg, you are a co-host. You can share. Yes, please
All right,
do
we
share.
have to hold on. We're having tech. You try and share your screen. We're having some technical difficulties at this end, so.
I think
Paul-
Sherry has the same plan, Ann, so,
Right, I don't care who shares it.
okay.
Miss Joseph, you are a co-host, Karen Joseph. So if you wish to unmute yourself, you should be good. Yes, you there, Karen? Yeah, Miss Joseph? Yes.
Got it. You can hear us?
Fantastic.
I'm
Good.
back.
Good.
Okay,
Sorry,
thank you.
I got booted out.
Good. So Gregory, if you want to, Mr. Tansley, if you want to share your screen, you most certainly can.
Okay, this is a revised plan we submitted based upon some comments we received from the planning department through our client, Paul Sharon.
I don't
what
see
it's-
anything on the screen.
And Mr. Tansley, we do not see your screen yet. Do you know how to share? You're going to push the little button at the bottom of your screen. It says share screen. You know? Yes? The green button
yep.
right in the middle. Yep, I want you to do
All
that.
right. Do you see the plan now?
Nope.
We do not. Mr. Sharon, do you have the plan on your computer?
I'm calling for my phone.
That's fine.
Can I just ask, are we showing the new plan or the first plan? The revised
showing
plan
the
that you just
revised plan.
submitted?
The revised plan, Shari, is what he's trying to show.
Okay, just give me a second. I have it pulled and I'll share my screen.
Thank you.
Can you do it? Yeah. Here we go. Okay,
You all set?
all right, we're all set.
Okay, the original plan is dated March 9th. It has a revision date of May 14th. The original application showed one tree essentially in the middle of the lot to be removed, and also some of the existing concrete wall that's within the layout to be removed as well. What this plan shows is that there's some additional trees within the countryway layout that would be removed as well. It also shows the wall that would be removed to allow for the turning radiuses in and out of the common driveway, which is also shown on the plan. That's the only work that we need to do within the layout in order to accommodate the common driveway. That will provide for the adequate site distance as well. And it also will provide for adequate access into the property for the two house lots. We show on the plan the location of the common driveway, which ends in a turnout area for the emergency vehicles. And it shows the two houses that would be serviced by the common driveway as well. So this is a revised plan. I think the only thing we've added to it, I believe, are the additional trees to come out within the layout. That's in addition to the one tree that was going to be removed and with the original submission. The length of the stone wall, the length of the concrete wall to be removed hasn't changed because the design of the common driveway has not changed. So I think with that, I'll end and answer any questions the members may have.
Karen?
Well, I really think that the planning board needs to decide whether they want to continue this public hearing or ask the applicant to withdraw. I only advertised for one tree to be removed. I advertised for the 16-inch maple to be removed. And now with other trees being removed, I think it needs re-advertising at a minimum so that the public is totally aware. I don't have any feedback from the tree warden
Okay,
because this
And-
is a public shade tree and a scenic road hearing.
right.
And
Yes,
yeah, can I respond to that? I understand what Karen's saying. This, however, this is a revised plan. The revision being that we're going to take out some additional trees. Other than that, nothing's changed from the original submittal. If she wants to re-advertise it, you could probably do that where there's been a change, but I think the meetings have been advertised and they've been continued. And anyone listening in, especially the abutters would know that. And it's not unusual that once plans are submitted for any permit, that there are revisions being made to it. And that's the case in this situation.
Well, I disagree because this is a scenic road hearing. This is specifically to remove trees in the right of way.
Mhm.
And these trees, the additional trees above 3 inches in caliper have not been advertised. They haven't been posted. And the tree warden has not given any comment on it.
Can I make a suggestion? Why don't we re-advertise it? And I'll talk to the warden in the morning and ask them to mark the trees accordingly. The trees to come out are very obvious in the field.
Well, we want the warden's feedback on the trees, not just for him to go out and mark them.
right. But I have another issue here. And I understand that this is a revised plan, but keep in mind, you did not receive your Form As for these two lots. you do not have permission, to my knowledge, to remove that piece of cement wall for this access. So, you know, we have a bit of a conundrum here, Paul, about what you're doing. Because when we sat down and talked with Paul Sharon, it was suggested that he really think about doing a 2-lot subdivision, and therefore the wall would never have been touched. And I think he could have somehow, some way, have figured that out. Because you don't have the Form As. You do not have access to a common driveway. Am I correct on that, Karen?
And I've looked at a 2-lot subdivision. I laid it out using the rules and regs. And bottom line is the houses, he wouldn't be able to build these houses that are shown on the plan. The houses would be about 10 to 15 feet in depth. And it has to do with the dimensional requirements for setbacks from away and the property line and the fact that these are corner lots. It's not even close to not working.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. However, at this point in time, Karen, do they have access for a common driveway at this moment?
And no, and not at this moment, but that's not what's before the board tonight.
Right, you're right.
Before tonight is the scenic road hearing.
All right, and
And-
we're going to continue the scenic road hearing. Is that correct, Paul?
Yes.
Okay, I move to accept the, is there any further discussion on the scenic road continuance from the board, please?
So we're going to continue this, re-advertise it,
Yep.
ask for I'm assuming this is the final drawing. So all the trees that are proposed to be removed are on this drawing, and that's what gets re-advertised.
Yes.
And then we will ask the tree warden to review those and give us his assessment
Correct.
prior to whenever we have the next hearing.
Fine. Thank you.
I would like a new application too. I mean, the first application just had the one tree. I want it written out what's to be coming down here so that I can make sure the advertisement is proper. And that the tree warden will post the proper trees.
So should we withdraw this application and have him submit a new one?
No, I'm suggesting that we do what Ann suggested, that we,
No, we're going to withdraw it, and then we have to re-advertise it.
That's
We're gonna
fine.
withdraw- We're going to withdraw it. I move to accept the applicant's request to withdraw the application for a public hearing for the scenic road and public shade tree hearing for property located at 533 Country Way, parcel 26-2-5. The board agrees to waive the refiling fee except for the portion for advertising, as re-advertising will likely be necessary. Is there a second for discussion?
Second,
Is there further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Ms. Barbine,
Aye.
Ms. Lampert,
aye.
Ms. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Bornstein,
Aye.
Mr. Pritchard.
Aye.
Thank you, unanimous, all in favor.
Okay, thank you.
Ann, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
I'll resubmit the revised application, a new application that states the trees to come out. When could we expect to have the public hearing? Would that be in 2 weeks?
No, it has to be advertised twice in a paper of local circulation. The soonest it could be is June 24th. And I'm not even sure we can get, it has to go in the paper if it was June 24th, it had to go in the paper the 17th and 10th. We'd have to have the ad to the paper by June 3rd.
Paul, can you please make that happen?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, moving right along, we have a public hearing, site plan administrative review and stormwater for 43 Watch Hill Drive, Inley School. The applicant is Inley School, Donna Milani Luther, owner Bruce and Dady Jobsy. Okay, in accordance with Scituate zoning bylaw, section 770, site plan administrative review, the planning board will hold a public hearing on Thursday, May 27th, 2021 at 6:45 PM in the Select Board's hearing room, Town Hall, 600 Chief Justice Cushing Highway. The subject of the hearing is a major site plan administrative review of an application submitted by the Inley School Assessor's Map Block Lot 52-2-5B-1 for transforming the existing dwelling at 43 Watch Hill Drive into a toddler facility with 19 parking spaces to accommodate up to 44 toddlers and staff, with associated site improvements, including a pickup drop-off area. The plan is available for review in the Planning Board office, Town Hall, 600 Chief Justice Cushing Highway, by appointment only. Participation in the public hearing for butters and other interested parties will be via remote access only. Please call the Planning Board office at 781-545-8730 for additional information. Okay,
And
yes.
as I previously noted, will be recusing myself for this portion of tonight's meeting and any future hearings on this matter. So I will rejoin after the deliberations are completed.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Bob, you're on. Okay.
Okay.
So, who is making the presentation, please?
I'll begin. Good evening. I'm Donna Milani Luther. Is it okay for me to go ahead? You ready? Yeah?
Go right ahead. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Donna Milani Luther, head of Inley School. And thanks so much for including us on your agenda this evening. We so appreciate it. For those of you who may not be familiar with Inley, it's a preschool through grade 8 school, which sits on just under 10 acres on Watch Hill Drive in Scituate. Our goal this evening is to present a comprehensive plan that will house our toddlers, our youngest students, who are 18 months to 3 years old, in their own specially designed place. The youngest children in our school need space to grow. We've found over time that creating a space for these young children where they can be themselves without the distraction of older students best suits their developmental needs, hence the need to create a new toddler center across the street from our main building. I know our team is here to present the details of the new toddler center to you, and as always, we try to communicate with our neighbors and are committed to being a good neighbor by working with our neighbors and abutters to minimize any impact our school and school schedule has on them. And now Tom Peterman, the architect on our project, will continue.
Tom?
All right, thank you, Donna. Madam Chair, if I could share screen,
That would be wonderful.
okay. Can everyone see that, please?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll give a quick overview of the project, and I'll end with this. I'm going to actually end with the site plan rather than starting with the site plan. The structure that is being proposed for the Toddler Center is a existing 4-bedroom, single-family house that is directly across the street from the Toddler Center that's on the campus presently. So it's a property immediately abutting the school. It is a structure that we plan to renovate without really doing any expansion to it whatsoever, to create 3 classrooms on the first floor for toddlers. You see that on the plan here, classrooms 1, 2, and 3. Third classrooms in what is currently the garage space. We're doing extensive renovations at this level to create bathrooms for each of the classrooms and storage space. The basement of the building will be unfinished, and the second floor of the building will be staff offices and storage only. So there'll be no public use of the second floor of the house. We are adding a new front porch and stairs along with a walkway to make the building accessible to the handicap. I'll show you the elevation of the house remains essentially as it is today. The only difference you'll notice from the street is that we're removing the garage doors in this location, replacing it with some large windows. On the side of the garage, we're adding windows and putting a door because every classroom is required to have a direct means of egress to the exterior. And across the front of the house, we're removing a existing porch that's on the very front of the house and we're replacing that with a porch that extends across the entire facade of the main portion of the house to protect the what's going to be the new entrance into the Toddler Center and an exit door from the one of the classrooms. The ramp, the handicapped accessible ramp, enters at this end of the walkway. I'll be happy to go over any details of that, but I'm going to go to the site plan for a moment, and then I'm going to turn it over to our civil engineer. This is the house that I just showed you a moment ago. It's situated pretty far back from the street, so it has a very large front lawn. We're proposing to put in a driveway that loops around the front of the house, so that there's a drop-off road, gets all the traffic off the street. There's a drop-off lane right at the sidewalk in front of the house, and a passing lane, as you can see here. We've tested all the turning radiuses and the widths of the driveway with fire truck turning radiuses, and they have been satisfied with that. We are providing 19 parking spaces in the front of the school. There are only 8 staff members here, but we're providing additional parking for parents who may want to walk their toddlers into the building. And the current parking bylaw is written in such a fashion that we would need to provide about 30 spaces for this building, even though the basement and the second floor are not really being occupied by this use. And as you can see, with 19 spaces, we're already maxed out the amount of parking that we can really get into the front yard of this house. So we're looking for your support in reducing the parking requirement here to 19. It includes handicap parking spaces as well. There is a curb cut, and we do have an accessible ramp up to the porch. There is a sidewalk that extends out towards the street. There will be, in the future, a curb cut. I know it's one of the proposed conditions tonight to put in a crosswalk across Enley. That we'll have to figure out how it's going to connect to existing pathways on the school side of the building. There are no other site improvements proposed except for a small playground at this end of the space. It's right beside the present garage. This is where we propose to relocate the toddler playground equipment, which is all very low in scale. Again, these students are ages 3 and under, and they'll probably only be using the playground, and it's 12 students at a time, supervised by probably no less than 2 adults at any one time. And I know that one of the concerns that we're going to hear from Butter is that the playground is close to a neighboring house. We have committed to looking for an alternative location for the playground. We hope to approve the application tonight with the playground as shown, but we've committed to the neighbor that we're going to look for alternative locations in the coming weeks and try to find one that satisfies them. There's been a lot of emphasis put into water management here and drainage, which Sean will talk to in a moment. We're also extending landscape screening along this side of the lot line for the neighbor's benefit. We're maintaining a pretty dense row of trees and across the front of Watch Hill, which will screen the parking lot. There's an existing dense line of hedges here along this part of the property line. We're going to extend that to all the way to Watch Hill Street and add additional trees. And we've also committed to the neighbors to add more trees at the rear, extending to their rear corner of their lot line as well. We're also landscaping and adding trees and shrubs into the island as well. With that, I will leave it to Sean to talk about site drainage and other improvements.
Great, thank you, Tom. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sean Malone with Oak Consulting Group, civil engineer for the project. Would it be possible to share my screen? It might be easier for me to use my cursor to direct you around the plan a little bit. Okay. So what I'm showing here is the grading, drainage, and erosion control plan we've developed for the site. As Tom mentioned, we have a parking lot of 19 spaces along with 20-foot drive aisles around the site. The resultant is approximately 10,000 square feet of impervious area to be added to the site. As such, we've designed a stormwater management system to treat the stormwater and also manage the discharge from the site, both in the rate of flow as well as the volume of flow. So after this is constructed, there'll be no increase in the rate or volume of flow from this site as a whole or to the abutting property to the immediate west, I believe this is. A quick overview of the drainage plan is the whole site slopes from the upper part of the page to the lower. And we've graded the site in a manner to match those existing grades as much as practical. So we have a slope approximately 6 to 7% across the site. We'll be capturing the stormwater in several different locations. We have a landscaped island here, which will also have a small stone swale bed at the bottom of it. So we'll be using some kind of LID country drainage to be able to collect the stormwater here and direct it to a stormwater treatment unit in front of the building with a discharge on the west side of the building. This is approximately 20% of the stormwater. The remainder is directed more easterly and captured through a series of the swales with basin. We have a swale with a basin here and a catch basin at the low point of the site. This is all directed to a subsurface detention structure, which is a series of pipes buried underground that will hold the stormwater back and release it more slowly through a stormwater treatment system and then to an infiltration system. We did a number of test pits a couple months ago, and we've designed the infiltration system to have 3 foot of separation from the seasonal high groundwater as required by the Scituate bylaw. This stormwater system has been peer reviewed by Horsley Witten. We received several comments requesting some additional information and some minor changes to the plan. We had made those changes probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. And last week we received a letter from Horsley and Witten confirming that the proposed design does meet the state and town regulations for stormwater. So there'll be no adverse impacts from the site development. I think with that, I'll turn it back to you, Tom.
Okay, so I think that's our presentation. If anyone has any questions, Sean and I will be happy to take them.
I'm going to ask Horsley Witten, Janet Bernardo is here. Would you like to comment, Janet? You need to be, okay, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Hi. For the record, my name is Janet Bernardo. I'm a professional civil engineer with the Horsley Witten Group. Horsley Witten was asked to review the plan set and from the zoning point of view as well as from stormwater management. We prepared 2 letters. The first is dated May 6th and this follow-up letter is dated May 18th. It's in our opinion, the applicant has addressed our concerns and is meeting the zoning requirements. The question we had was regarding the parking spaces and if we understood there was a conversation with town staff to come up with the 19 spaces, but that will be a decision by this board on whether that's adequate or not. And I also understand that the fire department has been consulted and that the applicant widened the driveway to make sure that the fire trucks could fit through the driveway without any issues. There is stormwater management is relatively intense because the soil is not particularly good. So there is a number of different practices and there'll be a detention system. The infiltration system has an overflow that is the clean out from the infiltration system. It's like an inspection port. It's the vertical port. It will be important that the applicant and the property owner knows where that clean out is aware of it and inspects it regularly enough to make sure that it's not covered with leaves or debris or anything. If for some reason the system were to totally fail and that orifice was clogged, the low point, I believe the low point is the catch basin that's in the driveway. And so it would be very visible that the catch basin was not draining, that there was ponding right there. So that would be an indication that there's an issue and something needs to be cleaned up. But to have it operating properly, the property owner should be conducting the regular operation and maintenance for the system, because it is a lot of different components with the detention pipes and the trenches, as well as the infiltration system. But I do believe that the applicant has met all the criteria that we requested and are meeting the regulations as necessary.
Thank you, Janet. Any comment from the applicant? No, all right.
I'm sorry, can I add one more thing?
Certainly.
So because of the shape of this lot, typically if the lot itself was like a rectangle and the two property lines went down to the wetlands, all the way to the wetlands, we would have asked them to make sure that their discharge to the property boundary as well as to the wetlands were both evaluated. How they designed the system, and there's a longer stretch along the wetlands. So their final design point was further down, meaning they ended up discharging less to the abutting property than if they didn't have that opportunity to have a longer stretch. So what's discharging under existing conditions and discharging under proposed conditions to the abutter is actually reduced. There's an increase going directly to the back wetlands, but by the time it gets off of their property in the further wetlands down gradient, they have slightly reduced what's happening under existing conditions. Does that make sense?
So bottom line, at the property boundaries are that there are no increases at any of the boundaries in velocity or flow?
Correct. At the property boundaries, correct.
And the boundary to the abutter is actually a decrease.
And yes, the boundary to the abutter is a decrease, exactly.
If the catch basin does flood, where does it spill over?
Starts in the driveway itself. There's a quite a large low point there. I don't know if the applicant wants to bring up that grading plan again.
But will it ultimately discharge to the south, to the abutter's property?
I don't think it will discharge. So see that 54, there's the catch basin rim is 53 and a half.
Mhm.
So then it's going to get 6 feet of water, 6 inches, sorry, of water before it hops over the curb. And yes, then it goes to the 54 and then down the 53. So
Okay.
if it hops the curb 6 inches, it would go towards the abutter.
Okay.
And if I may, just one other thing, just to touch on what some of what Janet was talking about with regards to maintaining this system. As part of our submission and stormwater study, we did prepare and submit a comprehensive operation and maintenance plan for the stormwater system on this site. So we're obviously not anticipating any kind of catastrophic failure, but there will be ongoing maintenance and inspections regularly.
Thank you. We've also heard from Assistant Chief Elliott about, let's see, in keeping with their plan to install a fire alarm system and NFPA 13 sprinkler system, they will need to get at least a 6-inch water main for a hydrant, which will need to be within 100 feet of the building. Consideration should be given through fire apparatus access. A fire department access road needs to be 20 feet wide with curb radii sufficient to accommodate Scituate ladder 1. The drop-off area, if included in the driveway with would need to be a live parking area only. The fire department would like to review the fire alarm, shop drawings, and sprinkler plans, including hydraulic calculations and flow testing data at the appropriate time. And also, he wants you to know that he's requiring a filtering device to screen out sediment on all the NFPA 13 systems installed in town now. Okay, but you all are aware of that?
We
Mr.
are. And
Malone?
the only item we took exception to is that there is actually a fire hydrant at the driveway directly in front of the building and on Watch Hill Drive. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's just a little over 100 feet away, maybe less. Sean maybe can answer that question. But that 100-foot requirement is only for standpipe systems, which is generally large assembly uses, high rises, things like that. The code for this type of sprinkler system is 400 feet, so we're well within that limit. But everything else we've given him and on the plan and already committed to.
All right, Karen?
So as Janet indicated, the drainage system has been peer reviewed and there's no increase in rate or volume or quality of runoff leaving the site. The site is in the Water Resource Protection District. And so that's, this is in a zone 2 to a public well. So a large part of the original house falls within the 50-foot buffer. But I think the applicant has tried to keep a lot of the parking, et cetera, out of the buffer area. Planning board is a little bit limited on what they can regulate here under the Dover Amendment. On the parking, we met with the applicant prior to filing the application, and we agreed that 19 parking spaces would be a reasonable number. This is based on the amount of actual square footage that they're using. Also, it's in comparison with some other preschool daycare in Scituate that the amount of parking that they provide. So we did look at several alternatives. This toddler house parking would be available to the rest of the school in special events. And so this, I think it's a good thing for the school. I did go out there yesterday and did note that, I'm gonna note that all the conditions from the previous 2 site plan reviews are still in effect. And some of the signage and some of the stuff that was supposed to be painted on the street is not there. So I would hope that that will get done as part of this project. Otherwise, I think it's a good, they've done a good job in trying to, really reuse the house. And, I sent out a draft decision. I would recommend a crosswalk and additional screening to help buffer the neighbor.
Thank you. And I'll open it up to the board for discussion. Steve?
Yeah, I don't have any additional, well, one thing, and it's probably just an interest, is this house old enough to be considered an issue with respect to things like lead paint or asbestos?
It's not. This house, I think, dates from the early 1990s, as I recall. So it postdates the use of lead paint. Nevertheless, there is a requirement by the health department before a demolition permit can be obtained to actually have an environmental report done, and that's being done just to confirm that there's no hazardous materials in the structure.
Okay, thank you.
Patty?
No, I was just going to follow up on Steve's thing about lead. Thank you.
Rebecca?
Nope, I'm all set.
Bob?
I think that the plan looks good, but I understand the abutters, their hesitancy or the fact that they don't like the positioning of the playground. I was just wondering what the what the process would be to be able to move the playground maybe to the other side of the house? Is that the Conservation Commission? Like, would they have to give a waiver to move it if the playground, was built within that 100 foot buffer to the wetlands? Like, could we make this happen without the playground being bumped up against the abutter's property line, or at least to the buffer? And how
Well,
could
if I could speak to that, Bob, if you notice on the plan, they show the 50 foot and the 100 foot buffer. So putting it directly on the other side of the house puts it in the 50 foot buffer, which the town of Scituate has a 50 foot no disturb. So I'm not sure the Conservation Commission would be too happy with that. There may be other places, maybe a little further away, that they could put the playground, but this is also in zone 2 to a well. So you really don't want your 50 foot buffer disturbed.
I will add that we just discussed this at some length with the neighbors earlier today, and there are very limited opportunities to relocate this. As Karen noted, there's really no other location on this property that isn't within the 50 foot buffer. The school does own the neighboring property on the other side called Sunflower Hill. So there was some discussion about trying to find a location on that immediately on that other property. But if you look at the topography there, you'll see it. It starts to rise very steeply right beyond the property line. And it's heavily treed along that location. So trying to put a playground not only makes it remote from the building, but it would require a lot of site work, a lot of grading, perhaps even a retaining wall because of the topography there. But nevertheless, we're committed to looking at it and seeing if there's any kind of reasonable alternative to this. I will remind everyone that these are 3-year-olds and under, and this is not your typical elementary school playground. So I won't say they're going to be silent, but they're certainly not as boisterous and noisy as you would expect from first and second, third graders, that sort of thing. But
Thank you. I only have, let's see, what are you going to do in terms of snow removal and trash removal?
on the snow removal side, we discussed that as well today with the neighbors, and we agreed that we will put the snow in locations away from their property line. Probably the parking lot would be probably pushed towards the Watch Hill lot line and to the other side of the property, as far away from the neighbor's lot line as we possibly can get it. In terms of trash, I believe the school will probably send over like a golf cart or something, to pickup truck to kind of pick up the occasional bags of trash. We don't anticipate a lot of trash being generated over there.
And finally, lighting.
The site plan shows that we have lighting at the porch ceiling to kind of wash the porch and the immediate sidewalk in front of the building. We're also showing a number of bollards, kind of low scaled lighting that would just kind of throw a wash along the sidewalks, and one near the crosswalk at the parking lot. So we're trying to keep the impact of the lighting residential and low scale. We're purposely trying to avoid pole mounted fixtures for that reason.
Right, since this is in fact a public hearing, I will open it up to public comment. Yes, Steve?
Quick question. I saw somewhere that that somebody had reviewed the landscaping plan. Karen, was that your review?
Yeah, I looked at it and
You're good with
after discussing with the neighbor too, we asked that, we're going to condition, if you go that way, additional landscaping at the back of the site.
Okay.
I think the landscaping plan is very acceptable.
Okay, thank you.
Open it up to the public for comment, please.
So if you'd like to make a comment from the public, you can go on the bottom of your screen and click participants to raise your hand, or you can turn your cameras on and wave at us. If you're by phone, you can hit star 9.
Use semaphore.
Okay, we have one question. Caller, you're available to speak. Just please identify yourself and your address.
Yep, hi, this is Jim Avalman at 27 Watch Hill Drive. Thank you for meeting with us yesterday at the planning board to go over the plans. Most all of my issues have been addressed in one way or another. We met today with Tom Peterman and Paul Antico to discuss them at length. So, you know, the snow removal, the trees, and we discussed the traffic a little bit, but the two big items, which were the runoff on my property and the playground. They've agreed that they'll work with us to recite the playground because, you know, that's a real problem for us. And the water we discussed earlier on this call. And, you know, as it's stated, it's all running towards my property. Everybody's done all sorts of plans to take care of the infiltration and everything else, but it still boils down to I have no water issues, no standing issues on my property. I have no water issues in my basement. I have no septic problems. I have no leaching field problems. I don't expect any of that to change. And if it does, at the meeting today, Tom and Paul agreed that Inley would work with us to get it resolved as quickly as possible. So, I mean, those are really what my big issues are, or what our concerns are. So.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else?
I do not see any other questions or comments coming from the public. So we will end that portion at this time.
So, anything further from the board before we move on? Patty, you're muted.
I know. How long is school in session at Italy School? Are you 12 months a year?
Yes, we are just for the preschool.
Okay, so the little children will be there 12 months out of the year?
Yes, but it's a much reduced group of children. So, for example, this summer we have 12 in the toddler program and 12 in the 3 to 6 year old program. So it's 24, 25 children in the summers. And the other, of course, it's many more children during the regular school year.
And how often, I mean, I know that we like to have our children outside. I don't know how noisy they can, I mean, I know how noisy they can be, kind of pleasant to listen to sometimes, but other times not. Just as well as we can kind of get to some resolution. I'm sure the Inwood School will be a wonderful neighbor. Everything up there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the board? Okay. Okay. I move to make the following findings of fact. The property at 43 Watch Hill Drive is occupied by a single-family dwelling and is located in the Residence R1 zoning district and Water Resource Protection District, Zone 2, to a public well. The table of use regulations indicates the use is allowed by right in this zoning district. According to General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 3, no zoning ordinance or bylaw shall prohibit, regulate, or restrict the land use or structures for educational purposes on land owned by a nonprofit educational corporation, provided that such land or structures may be subject to reasonable regulations for the bulk and height of structures and determining yard sizes, lot area, setbacks, open space, parking, and building coverage requirements. 2, the applicant submitted the site plan entitled Toddler House Planning Board Permit Set for Inley School in Scituate, Mass, dated April 15th, 2021, with revisions through May 13th, 2021, by Sean M. Malone, PE of Oak Consultant Group for Peterman Architects, Inc., and was accompanied by 7 site plans consisting of existing conditions and site preparation, site layout, grading, drainage, and erosion control plan. erosion control notes, site details, detail plans, and a landscape plan. Elevations and floor plans by Peterman Architects dated 4/19/2021 were also submitted. A separate existing conditions plan by Merrill Engineers and Land Surveyors for 43 Watch Hill Drive dated March 25th, 2021 was also submitted. 3, the planning board approved a site plan administrative review for the Inley School Art Barn on May 31st, 2001, with conditions relating to parking and traffic. All of these conditions remain in effect. The planning board approved a site plan administrative review for a classroom addition on June 15th, 2015. All of those conditions remain in effect. 4, according to the architectural plan submitted, there will be no change to the footprint of the building. Exterior changes to the building will be new windows and doors, a new front porch, and handicapped accessible walks as necessary. Building trim, siding, and roofing will be repaired as needed. There is no change to the existing height of the structure. 5, according to the site plan submitted, a 20-foot wide site driveway / drop-off will be provided with one-way circulation. A concrete sidewalk with handicap ramps will connect the toddler house to Watch Hill Drive and the remainder of Inley School. 6, the building is being retrofitted to accommodate up to 44 toddlers and staff combined, 36 students and 8 staff, to comply with Title V limitations of the existing on-site septic system. 7, the Scituate zoning bylaw, section 760.6, table of minimum parking requirements requires 1 parking space for every 200 square feet of building area for educational exempt uses. The plan shows 19 designated parking spaces for the toddler house. The gross square footage of the building with an unfinished basement is approximately 5,900 square feet. Under the zoning bylaw, this would require 30 parking spaces. The site plan shows 19 parking spaces based upon other daycare facilities parking provided, and there is additional parking on the Inley School campus, and it is in the interest of the Water Resource Protection District to minimize impervious surface. 8, the area of new grading clearing is approximately 25,000 square feet. The existing impervious area is 6,036 square feet, and the proposed is approximately 17,128 square feet for an increase of impervious area of approximately 170%. The proposed stormwater management system includes stone swales, catch basins, and subsurface detention and infiltration systems. The applicant's engineer has certified that the drainage system can be expected to result in post-development runoff characteristics, including peak flow, total volume of runoff, and water quality of runoff for the project being less than or equal to pre-development characteristics. The site plan generally meets the requirements of the Water Resource Protection District, as the drainage system is balanced for rate and volume of runoff, with a small portion of the sidewalk, driveway, and parking being treated by a stormwater treatment unit prior to discharge. 9, the planning board finds, to a degree consistent with reasonable use of the site for the purposes permitted by the regulations for the district the land is located in. A, the adjoining premises are protected against detrimental and offensive methods of utilizing the site, with the exception of the abutter to the south. The project area is surrounded by other Inley School property, and an evergreen screen is proposed between the site and the abutting residential property. B, Watch Hill Drive is a private road with no site distance issues. The site has been designed with one-way traffic circulation with separate drop-off and through lanes to minimize queues, providing traffic safety and ease of access. C, the site has been designed with vegetative screening to minimize light intrusion from the site, and the site driveway has been designed for emergency vehicles. Sidewalks are included for pedestrian safety on the site and abutting school property. B, the site has been a residential house lot and has an existing septic system, and the accommodations of students and staff will respect the existing septic infrastructure. An existing hydrant is located along the site frontage, and a new site service is being provided for firefighting facilities. E, the site has been designed with a new stormwater management system, meeting stormwater requirements and water resource protection district requirements. No significant hazardous materials will be stored on site. G, the site has been designed to tie in to the existing grades as much as practical to minimize cut and fills. Erosion control will be provided. H, the site design includes preservation of existing vegetation on Watch Hill Drive, and there is new screening along the south to minimize views from public accessible locations. I, parking area trees are shown as required, and parking will be buffered by existing and proposed vegetation. Site lighting is limited to bollard lights along walks to avoid light spillover to neighboring properties. J, sidewalks are provided for safe travel for pedestrians between the site and school property. The use is for young children, so connectivity to non-school areas is not desirable. 10, the site plan entitled Toddler House Planning Board Permit set for the Inley School in Scituate, Mass, site dated 4/15/2021, with revisions through 5/13/21 by Sean P. Malone, PE for Peterman Architects, Inc., meets the requirements of the Town of Scituate zoning bylaw 770.6 site plan review standards for review to a degree consistent with reasonable use of the site for the purpose permitted by the regulations of the district in which the land is located. Okay, is there any comment from the board?
I have a few.
Yes, Stephen, what?
I'm down to item 7, so if there's anything before 7, anybody else has?
No.
I'm sorry?
No, we're all set, go ahead. Number
No.
7?
Yeah, on 7, I think we should add a sentence to 7 after it says this would require 30 parking spaces. And I would suggest something that says, however, the applicant has represented that neither the basement nor the second floor will be occupied space, and therefore the occupied area is approximately, and you tell me, 2,000 square feet? I don't know what the number is. I think that probably then justifies the 19 parking spaces. But maybe the applicant can tell us what that number is.
You're welcome.
Give me 1 second.
Roughly, I mean, approximately.
First floor is 2,300 square feet.
Okay.
Okay.
That's,
Then on number 8, Karen, maybe I missed the nuance here. It says the site plan generally meets the requirements. Do we need the word generally?
No, we can say the site plan meets the requirements of the Water Resource Protection District.
Okay, let's do that. And then item 9, section A. It feels like we sort of left that hanging a little bit with the exception of the abutter to the south. Could we sort of turn that around? Because I think what you're saying is that with the addition of the additional evergreen screen, it meets that requirement, right? We're not tending to indicate that there is a permanent exception here, right?
No.
Right, all right. I mean, we can say,
We can say, utilizing the site as the project area is surrounded by other Inley School property, and the proponent or project has included an evergreen screen between the project site and the abutting residential property. How's that?
okay,
Okay. Anything else, Steve?
Let's see. On little I there, it says site lighting is limited to bollard lights. I think I forget, forgive me, I forget the architect's name here, but I think you indicated that there's more than just bollard lights.
There's a porch light, three sets of
Porch
the
lights.
porch.
Okay, so maybe limited to bollard light and porch lighting then. That's it.
Do we need to vote on these findings of fact?
You need to second as amended.
All right, all in favor?
Wait, did we second as amended? I'm sorry.
Yes, I did.
Yes, Steve.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you. I was speaking.
Sorry. Second as amended.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Burbine,
Aye.
Ms. Lampert,
Aye.
Ms. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mr. McLean. Oh, wait, Bob, I think you're muted.
No.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you. All in favor. Unanimous, all in favor for findings of fact.
Thank you. I move to approve the site plan with the following conditions. 1, any modifications to the bulk and height of structures, yard sizes, lot area setbacks, open space, building coverage, parking, as well as stormwater management system shall conform to the approved site plan. Prior to scheduling the pre-construction conference, the site plan shall be modified to conform to the conditions below. 2, where this site plan administrative review requires approval, permitting, or licensing from any local, state, or federal agency, such required approval, permitting, or licensing is deemed a condition of the Town of Scituate Planning Board's approval of this site. All necessary permits and approvals must be received prior to construction. Materials and details of construction shall meet all requirements of the DPW, Board of Health, Fire Department, Conservation Commission, Building Department, the State Building Code, and the Commission on Disabilities. 3, occupancy shall reflect Title V limitations of 440 gallons per day unless otherwise permitted by the Board of Health. 4, the vegetative screening at the southeast property line must be maintained. 5, an independent third-party inspector employed through the town hall shall perform construction inspections for installation of the drainage and parking facilities according to Section 9 of the subdivision regulations. Written reports shall be submitted to the applicant and town planner stating the results of the inspections. Pre-construction. 6, the pre-construction conference, including the town's consulting engineer, the site contractor, the town planner, and conservation and natural resource officer will be required prior to the start of construction. 7, prior to scheduling the pre-construction conference, the following shall be provided to the planning board. A revised plan containing a crosswalk across Watch Hill Drive to the remaining Inley School property with ADA accessible curb cuts and appropriate signage. An additional 3 pines shall be added along the south property line west of the existing pines to enhance the vegetative screen. Construction. 8, stormwater control measures shall be maintained during construction according to the site plan and construction sequence. Stormwater management post-construction shall be according to the Stormwater Management Operation and Maintenance Plan, O&M, revised dated May 2021. Water and sediment cannot be discharged into the infiltration system until the site is fully stabilized. 9, the town planner is to be notified when erosion control measures are installed when construction begins and when construction is completed. If deemed necessary by the town planner, temporary sedimentation basins, check dams, silt socks, and noise and dust control may be required. All erosion control measures shall remain until the town planner determines that the danger of erosion or sedimentation no longer exists. 10, construction work shall not begin prior to 7 a.m. weekdays and 8 a.m. on Saturday, and shall cease no later than 7 p.m. or sunset, whichever is earlier. No construction shall take place on Sundays or legal state or federal holidays. 11, there shall be no parking or idling of vehicles on Route 123 or Watch Hill Drive during construction. 12, construction of the proposed site and site utilities shall be supervised by a registered professional engineer who shall certify in writing to the planning board and building commissioner that the site and the site utilities were constructed in accordance with the approved plans. The certification shall be accompanied by as-built plans for the improvements shown on the plan, signed and stamped by a land surveyor and the supervising professional engineer. The as-built plans must be submitted to the planning board prior to the issuance of a final occupancy permit. Is there a second for discussion?
Second for discussion.
Okay, Steve.
Yeah, a few things. Item 1, can we add to the laundry list that's there? Occupancy/use.
What? Can you repeat that?
Which one, Steve?
Yeah, after we have a litany of things that that are modifications. One of those things should be the occupancy or / use of the space.
On number 1?
On number 1, yes.
No, okay.
Number
I need to go back to that. Why occupancy?
because we are approving the parking based on the notion that there is no use of the basement or the second floor. There's no occupied use. There might be storage, et cetera, but there's no offices, there's no schoolrooms there. And so to the extent that somebody wants to change that, that's a modification. So you can word it. I could have chosen my words badly here, but you can word it alternatively.
Okay.
I think we need to add an item. I would say maybe item 6 maybe or something that says that the proponent or however we call them will evaluate alternative locations for playground area and report back to the planning board. And to the extent that changes are proposed, we'll request approval for those changes.
Anything else, Steve?
No, the only other thing I would add, this is just as belts and suspenders under construction, the first item under construction, add a sentence at the end that says applicant is requested to maintain vigilance on the catch basin, on proper drainage of the catch basin at the low point of the property to the south. Just to put a finer point on the fact that we need to make sure that that doesn't flood and overflow.
Are you all set?
Yeah, I'm all set.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have a question about the Title V application. Now, do we have to put some kind of a schedule into how often that's supposed to be looked at since there are so many children here?
That's not, Title V isn't our responsibility.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
That would be Board of Health, right?
Uh-huh.
Patty, keep in mind, 36 of those children are, or those people of the 44 are in diapers.
I know.
They might not even be trained to use the facilities.
That's right.
I don't have any little ones. I keep forgetting that. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Don't have,
Anybody else? Okay, I'll have a second as amended.
second,
Second.
All those in favor?
Ms. Burbine.
Aye.
Ms. Lambert.
aye.
Ms. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Aye.
Thank you, unanimous, all in favor.
Thank you so much, people. Good luck with your project.
Thank you
We
very much.
wish you the best.
Thank you so much. Thanks for everything.
you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Good
Bye,
night.
Janet. Good night.
See you.
Aye.
Okay, moving rapidly along. Where is my agenda? It took a hike. Ready to go. Here we go. Okay.
And can we go a little slow here?
Yeah, we need to get
until-
Ben
until
Bornstein back
Ben
in the meeting.
rejoins?
Okay, yeah.
All right.
I just let them know. Yeah.
Oh, he's
Okay,
joining.
all
He's
right.
coming.
And Ben is now a co-host too, so he has everything he needs.
Awesome. Ben. Nice to have you back.
Ben, can we hear you real quick to make sure you're good?
Yeah, sorry. I'm here. I was just my name.
Okay. All right. Now we're into old business, new business, et cetera, et cetera. First and foremost, since we had an election on Saturday, and welcome, Mr. McLean, as a voted member of this team.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Board reorganization. Yeah, and Patty was reelected and she beat the blanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, board reorganization.
I would like to make a motion that, I know that most boards, or almost every board in town, changes their chair every single time there's an election. I think the planning board is different in that capacity, is that there's a lot of hands-on. Ian goes a lot to town hall. I think the chair of this board in particular meets a lot with all kinds of applicants and with the board itself, with Karen and Sherry. So I feel comfortable with nominating Ian to continue to get our next projects up and underway. I think that she does a good job. She has a good relationship with Karen herself. And while I appreciate everybody, and especially Stephen, Bob and Ben with their engineering expertise, sometimes you have to like be there all the time, and it's all you guys work. It's kind of nice that, well, and you work too. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that.
I do sometimes.
But I'm the only one retired. But you're the one that's closest and has a more adaptable work schedule, I guess I would say. And you make your own hours, you own your own business, so that's kind of helpful as well. So I would nominate Ian to be our chair for another session. Anybody?
Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Ms. Burbine.
Aye.
Ms. Lambert.
Aye.
Ms. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Aye.
Mr. Bornstein.
Aye.
Unanimous, all in favor. Ms. Burbine, congratulations. You will continue
you.
as chair.
And I have to tell you, I really love what I do. I do, and I value all of you. And Stephen, you are so important. You always manage to put a fine tune on what we do, and it is truly appreciated. It really, truly is. So again, thank you. Thank you very much. And to Karen and Sherry, who work so incredibly hard. All right, we need a nomination for vice chair. What? Excuse me?
I nominate Ben again.
Ben, do you want to be vice chair?
Yeah, I don't mind, but if someone else wants to do it, that's also fine with me. So
Patty, do you want to do it?
I would be honored to do that. I'm around a lot. I can help, I'm here frequently. I would be honored to that. Thank you.
Steve, do you mind?
No, I just, Ben had just gotten started. That's why I was assuming he'd want to continue.
Yeah,
But it's up.
And
oh, sorry. Yeah, I'd be thrilled to continue, but my work load and family life at the moment is getting a little bit busy. So if Patty feels that she can devote, the time and energy to this, that I'm happy to defer to her at this point.
thank you.
so, we'll have a nomination for Patty to
I
be
withdraw my nomination then.
fine. And now can we have another nomination, please?
Move to nominate Patty Lambert as vice chair.
Is there a
Second.
sec? All in favor?
Ms. Burbine,
Aye.
I guess Ms. Lampert,
All right.
Ms. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mr. McLean,
Aye.
Mr. Bornstein.
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous, all in favor. Congratulations to our new vice chair.
All right, who wants to be clerk? Don't everyone speak at once. Oh, boy. I mean, this is really a popular spot, isn't it?
Well, remember, I think we're all going to be all back together maybe pretty soon, so it might be a little easier.
What's the clerk do?
Read everything.
I've been reading everything.
I know you've,
And
so you just have
minutes
to
and
read
accounting.
everything?
That's your job in.
That's my job, yay. Rebecca, do you want this?
Sure, I'll be clerk.
Okay.
I'll be
I
clerk.
nominate- Excuse me?
I said I'll be clerk.
All right, somebody nominate Rebecca as clerk.
I nominate Rebecca Lewis as clerk.
There a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Ms. Burbine.
Aye.
Ms. Lampert,
I
Ms. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mr. McLean,
Aye.
Mr. Bornstein.
Aye.
Unanimous, all in favor. Congratulations to our new clerk, Rebecca Lewis.
Yes, Rebecca.
All
All
right,
right.
so we'll have to have papers for you guys to sign, so they won't be ready till Wednesday of next week.
Okay.
Okay, so that we have to do your signatures because we have to send them to the Registry of Deeds and the Land Court. So no sooner than Wednesday of next week.
No, sooner than Wednesday.
So in other words, we need to get in here and sign this stuff.
After next Wednesday at the earliest, we have to prepare the papers.
June 2nd.
Okay, that's what I thought
Okay.
you were saying.
All
I
right,
just wanted to
thank
be
you.
sure.
All right, clarify that. All right, approve minutes.
Oh, hold on, I'm making a note. Hold on. I move to approve the meeting minutes for May 13, 2021.
There a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Ms. Burbine,
Aye.
Ms. Lampert,
I
Ms. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Aye.
Mr. Bornstein.
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous, all in favor.
And I move to approve the requisition of $2,175 to Horsley Witten for the peer review of 43 Watch Hill Drive, the English School, with $725 to Chesley Consulting for the peer review of 18 Ford Place, and for $37.44 to WB Mason for office supplies.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Ms. Burbine,
Aye.
Ms. Lampert,
Aye.
Ms. Lewis,
Aye.
Mr. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mr. McLean.
Aye.
Mr. Bornstein.
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous, all in favor.
All right, now we have liaison reports. I went to traffic rules the other night and there was something wrong with the audio and I finally gave up and went home. So what can I say? It could be North Scituate, it could be my computer, who knows? But the one thing that they were talking about was a curb cut up, way up on First Parish Road where there's an S curve. And one of the things that I did hear that the applicant or whoever has that property is willing to put in those speed signs, the ones that are, well, they have them down on Countryway and Branch Street, one of which is in the bushes because somebody hit it. But that's about all I know. Supposedly, Sean McCarthy will issue the curb cut permit when all is said and done, if it is in fact issued. So that, and then there was discussion about putting a crosswalk to Seagull Lane, which is down on Kent Street. And it was also stated that people are going way too fast on First Parish Road by the senior center, and they're taking lefts coming out of the senior center parking lot, which they're not supposed to do. And so Taylor Billings said that hopefully over the next 2 weeks, there will be some enforcement in that area. So that's all I know about traffic rules at this point. Anybody else?
Well, I'll follow up on my Public Buildings Commission meeting. I got a letter from Mr. Shea about my complaint. And he told me pretty much I have to listen by telephone if I want to really hear what they have to say. They did give an email address and they did give out a phone number. Well, I wrote to the email address and it bounced back. It didn't work. So that didn't work. When somebody called in to the meeting, he was aghast that somebody had the phone number, although it was on his own agenda. Several days after I received this, I got a letter from the Attorney General asking me if I wanted to file another complaint since Public Buildings Commission submitted their paperwork to the Attorney General a week too late. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to let them know that we are watching them. And then I heard through the grapevine and on Facebook and every place else that the lights were on all night last night. So I know that those middle lights are pretty bright, and I know that Kevin Kelly is trying to resolve that. I know that all of these public building things, I know to neighbors are extremely frustrating. I went back to look at the senior center, and the lighting for there says they'll be on and off, and we can dim them. One little, it was 10 words, and that was the lighting issue. I'm hard pressed to know why the senior center is so well illuminated at night. With the public safety complex, you can barely see it, and I live right across the street and I can't even see it at night. And I know that that parking lot is dark. So I keep trying to tell everybody it's a work in progress. We are going to get to it. You know, it's a punch list. We're trying to work our way down. I do know that there was a police officer there last night parked looking at traffic. I do know that. I had gone by last night. So other than that, we're just waiting for, I guess, a punch list, Karen, to see about the lights. I don't know. That's all, like I said. And I think when they open up for me, I am going to make an appearance at the Public Building Commission to see Mr. Shea, because I don't know who he is. So.
Okay, anybody else?
I attended the the EDC meeting, and they had an update from DPW, mostly talked about water resources and planning a future trip to view the water treatment plant, and then looking at some of the current status of it and potential upgrades to it.
Anyone else?
Nothing for me.
Nothing. Steve? No?
Just it's really a question only because I haven't seen any mention of it anywhere, and maybe Karen knows. Is there testing that's been done on the water system for PFAS? Do you know?
They're working, I think I read something that they are working on testing some of this new stuff that they, and I think that was one of them. They have to start testing.
Okay, so they haven't done any testing yet, as far as you know.
I think I briefly read the Water Resource Committee meeting minutes and something was mentioned in there.
Okay,
They have to start.
I'll see if I can dig those up then. Thank you.
So Ian, can
Anybody?
you make an overall statement about all the language that you hear all around town, people approaching in Shaw's and in the street about the water? You know, the planning board is acutely aware that there is a water shortage. We absolutely know that. I'm really tired of people accusing the zoning board and the planning board of approving developments when we don't have enough water. When in actuality, we don't ever say yes to anything unless we get the approval of the water commissioners, which in this point happens to be the Board of Selectmen. And if people have a complaint about too much building, they need to go to the people who tell us there's enough water. We are acutely, especially Mr. Pritchett, definitely knows that we have a water problem. So it isn't like we're turning a blind eye to that. And all of those armchair warriors, I hope you're listening and understand that we know and we are acutely aware, and we are trying very hard to work within the confines that we have to deal with the water issues in the building. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else have any other comments?
I would second Patty's remark there. And, you know, I think we've now reached the stage where the implementation of the quote unquote water emergency actions is now, you know, normal. It's not an emergency action anymore. It just seems like we do it every time. So it's become the new normal. And that appears to be the acceptable approach for assessing whether we have appropriate levels of water or not.
The other issue too is hooking into sewer, and that is an issue. And the Board of Selectmen, the Select Board, which is sewer commissioners, just allowed the Riverway to hook in to the sewer system. And so
Ian, do we know anything about the I&I off of Cedar Point? Has there been any discussion about how much water they've saved already off that?
no, at this point, I don't know. I'll have to make inquiries.
Okay.
I think they were still doing some, I mean, still trying to get some of those numbers in.
Okay. Supposed to be our saving grace for 400,000 gallons or something a day. Some number like
Something.
that. Okay.
Okay, planning, Karen?
All right, so unless legislation passes in the legislature prior to June 15, we're going to need a quorum in the room after June 15th. We don't exactly know what is going to happen with the open meeting law, but right now we know that for our second meeting in June, which is June 24th, we're going to definitely need a quorum in the room. That's what we've been told so far, and it's you know, we're being updated as changes are made. So we're going to need at least 3 people in the room on June 24th.
I'll be there.
Hopefully the legislature, you know, we don't know what they're going to do. The Drew Company started last week. Excuse me, the fencing, construction fencing is up, and they've started doing demolition for phase 1.
I thought you did a nice job on the construction fencing.
Yeah, I think the construction fencing is very good.
Mhm.
18 Ford Place has also started. The building, the house has been demolished. I'm in receipt of both of their monies for the pedestrian fund. Countryway, Zero Rear Countryway, they did pre-construction soil tests this week. They had to do one pre-construction to verify that the groundwater was 3 feet, you know, as assumed in the calculations. and everything was reported to be as assumed in the drainage calculations. They don't have a curb cut permit, and I don't have surety for them, so they're not authorized to begin. Seaside at Scituate, they're continuing their construction. I did issue a dust violation this week. They will be reportedly paving Hatherley Road on June 3rd. We're having a site meeting down there on Tuesday morning to review the road condition. I think it might be, it just seems a little rough on the on what they milled, and it seems like it's potentially a little bit of a hazard. It might be that the vertical curve isn't long enough, but we're going to be reviewing that in the field on Tuesday. And the senior center, the building lights are supposed to be on per the police department. The settings were adjusted yesterday, and they were reworked today. So hopefully the building lights are going to be okay. That's my latest update. Everything, we remain busy with accessory dwellings and Form As and
Karen, what's going on with the big 40B project on 3A?
they're still, the state, it's still in the comment period it's still in the time period between when the comments were submitted and Mass Housing has to make a determination. So no project eligibility letter has been issued yet. The
Okay.
state, Mass Housing is still evaluating that, as well as the cottages at Old Oaken Bucket. I will let you know as soon as something comes down.
Okay, thank you.
We do know that the applicant did submit comments to the town comments, basically rebutting the town comments, but, you know, it's, they had said it could be, 90 to 120 days after filing that Mass Housing will issue something. So I think there's probably a couple more months until something's going to be issued.
Okay.
All right, does anybody have anything else? I hope you all have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. I can't believe that it is Memorial Day weekend. I don't know where this year has gone. So our next meeting is June 10th, Karen?
June 10th, yep. We'll
Yes,
have a
and-
busy night on June
Yeah.
10th.
Now, Steve, are you going to be able to participate from California, do you think?
Yes, I've got it on my calendar that way, so.
Okay, great. All right, people, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor?
Ms. Burbine,
Aye.
Ms. Lambert,
Aye.
Ms. Lewis,
Hi.
Mr. Pritchard,
Aye.
Mr. McLean,
Aye.
Mr. Bornstein.
Aye.
Thank you, unanimous, all in favor. We are adjourned.
Good night.